Hi, this is Debbie. Welcome back to Cheyenne, Wyoming Urban Gardener, and we're doing a little bit of some harvesting this evening, and it's seeds, and we're also doing a whole bunch of other things. So let's take you along for the ride to see exactly what all we are doing. Right now what we have, basil seeds. Went ahead and harvested those, and if you actually turn these upside down, you can see the little seeds inside. See the little black dots? Let me see if I can get pretty close. It's kind of hard. Sometimes it doesn't want to focus, but if you can see that, then you can see there are seeds in there. So we have quite a few basil seed that will be in here, and we've got more on the way. Now, I do not have any apple trees here on the property as of yet. We're looking at some dwarf apple trees right now, but I did find a really good deal on Honeycrisp apples. So we ended up with about 10 pounds of apples, and we will be getting those worked up into some caramel apple pie filling. We're continuing to add to the pile that is in the box of harvested items. We did harvest some more of the super sauce tomatoes today. These are pretty large. Look at that. Getting just a little bit of a tinge of color on them, but again, these were the damaged vines, so we went ahead and brought them on inside. Some of them are already changing colors. We'll get those worked up soon. And we got our eggplants, at least a couple of them, off the vines. They have actually softened up quite a bit, so they are ready to do something with. And then, of course, we still have more cucumbers coming in. That pepper has changed completely red now, and I'm deciding what I'm going to do with those. And lots more squash, all getting worked into the box. We've been harvesting far more watermelon seeds. I actually harvested quite a few watermelons off the vines this morning because our temperatures are going to go down again, and it's really getting beyond the point where watermelons can continue to grow. I've still left my Crenshaws outside and my cantaloupes, just hoping that they will be able to finish on out, because I don't know. I just don't know if they will or not, because it's supposed to get a lot lower in temperatures. So anyway, we just keep adding to all of our seeds over here. More doll baby watermelon seeds. And we're still continuing to harvest more hibiscus flowers. The hibiscus are still outside until it becomes too cold for them to do so. And so we're still doing a whole lot of that. I also didn't harvest, but I went ahead and processed a whole bunch of mushrooms that we had picked up. We picked up an entire flat of criminy mushrooms, and I am dehydrating 4 levels of mushrooms in here, as well as we had about 6 quarts of mushrooms that went into the freezer. And we did get some more seeds planted today. We planted some more lettuces and radishes. We had harvested all the radishes through here, and we went ahead and replanted some new seeds, and we went ahead and hilled up around our cabbages that we have through here. We got 6 cabbage plants through here. We've got our beans right through here, and we did go ahead, like I said, and planted some more lettuce. Basically, we harvested all the lettuce in here. Went ahead and replanted some more seeds. Now we do have lettuce still remaining in the back and around the front, which is a lot younger lettuce and has not bolted, so we will be eating from that until the other comes up. And we have harvested a couple of the cabbages, and of course we have our new cabbages that are coming along fantastic. So they're doing great out there, and so we look forward to those. We harvested a few more of the daikon radishes and a couple more carrots just to check and see what's going on with those. But this is how the garden is looking now that it is more towards the end of the season. The sunflowers have been almost stripped bare by squirrels. We still have quite a few that are blooming, but they're smaller. Most of the larger heads have been taken by the squirrels, which is what we wanted them to do, to remain out of the main section of the garden. We've had a pepper plant that did drop, and that is because it is so heavy, so full of peppers, that it basically pulled that pepper plant down, but most of the other ones are still standing upright, so they're just loaded with peppers in here. I'm not even sure how they're remaining upright. If you can look in there, you can just see peppers everywhere. And they're huge. A lot of really huge peppers in here. And we have so many red curry squash in here. We've got more tomatoes that are coming on. This is late in the evening, so it's starting to get dark on me. But we have some extremely large tomatoes in here to the point that they are pulling down the vines now, even though we have them tied up. So they have definitely started pulling the vines down. I'm going to have to get in here and try to figure out something else to get the vines back up a little bit more. The tomatoes we're putting on, they're tomatoes near the tops of the vines instead of closer to the middle or bottom, because I've done a lot of trimming out the vines at the bottom just for good aeration. And unfortunately that means that a lot of the tomatoes came on at the tops, which has pulled a lot of them down. We are getting ready for harvesting some onions tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and get some of those harvested up and start the drying process, and then go ahead and get those braided and hung up. And we're just continuing to let our beans go ahead and dry out so we can shell and harvest the beans out of these. A lot of the half runner beans are nearly ready. You can see that it has really yellowed on the actual bean, and the beans inside are nice and full. So all they need to do is just dry out a little bit, and we'll go ahead and get those harvested, labeled, or bagged and labeled. Our potato vines are continuing to go ahead and die back. It's a slow process this time, but at least they are dying back. Last year they didn't die back at all. So you can see one of them has completely browned and the rest of them are yellowing. At least some of them are. So we will be ready to start harvesting potatoes pretty soon, which is good because our temperatures are going to plummet again very soon. We have loads of these Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes on here. A couple of the tomatoes do not look like they're going to be able to be used, like that one right there that has basically a split in it. But most of those tomatoes are perfectly fine. No splits or anything. You can see this one right here. Beautiful tomatoes. Some of them are way, way bigger than even that. So we'll have loads of tomatoes in here to harvest. These are the Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. And of course we still have the super sauce and other tomatoes on the vines as well. And we still have suckers trying to start on the tomato plants. This right here is a sucker. You can see how it looks, and you can see where it attaches on the vine right there. That is a sucker. I could actually cut that off and propagate it. If someone had a greenhouse, they could grow tomatoes through the winter if they kept it warm enough. And like I said, we did go ahead and harvest a lot of the watermelons, and we only have a couple of them left that I'm hoping will finish out. But I'm not real sure at this point because we are getting to the ragged edge, and I've been saying that for a while. And so far we've just had weather on our side is all I can say. And we still have Crenshaw melons in here. We still have cantaloupes, things like that. So hopefully they'll get to finish out. And like I said, we're getting ready to go ahead and pull out all of these watermelon vines out of the converted kiddie pool. I doubt that I will be planting watermelons in this converted kiddie pool next season because we have a lot of space in here that's basically going to be used for other things, and we've got strawberries in here that are getting runners on them, and we hope to get this filled with strawberries. But I do have another kiddie pool that I'm going to convert and go ahead and sit it over here, and we will likely have watermelons in that. So all of that going on, and you can see that we have a lot of seeds coming up on our basil plants. We got the cinnamon basil and the lemon basil and the sweet basil in here. All of them are going to seed, so we're going to be collecting seeds from those, and a whole lot of other produce in here we'll be collecting seeds off of: cucumbers, tomatoes, the whole 9 yards. And we've got a lot of tomatoes today that turned color. Look at that. So quickly, because these were not ready at all this morning, and they have turned color just like that, which tells me that it is really getting towards the end of the season. And we've got more cucumbers to harvest in here in the morning. And we still have squash that are being produced on the plants. And this watermelon plant is actually completely empty now. I just did not have time today to go in and empty the pot, but we will be emptying the pot and actually using the pot for something else, probably some lettuce or maybe spinach or something like that, because I do a lot of converting into the containers with spinach and lettuce and things like that when it gets towards the end of the season like this and things are finished. So anyway, that is what is going on with the garden in a nutshell now. We are just basically on the ragged edge of finishing everything out. We've got beans to pick in the morning. We've got loads of beans in here to go ahead and get those picked, and these will continue to produce as long as there is not a freeze. And I have not seen any freezes that are being predicted as yet. So anyway, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notices on new videos as they come out. And this is at the end of the season for the container garden and all of the rest of the garden. So we'll see you in the next one.